Hello everyone and welcome to an iconic muscle car name that is unlikely to have never been heard of, the Ford Mustang. However, this Ford Mustang comes with 4 cylinders instead of the V8. So, the real question is, can a Mustang without a V8 still deliver that iconic thrill? So in today's video, we're going to be finding out everything in detail about this Ford Mustang EcoBoost. So this new Mustang EcoBoost is offered in two different trims. So in this particular variant, which is the fastback and the premium fastback, and then comes the convertible where you have the similar models, then the GT variants which have the V8 engine, and then the dark horse again that also comes with the V8. And in terms of the appearance, pretty much they look exactly the same in terms of the model lineup. Yes, the dark horse has some bits that actually looks slightly different to the standard Mustang. Now the first thing to mention is the paintwork, because this paintwork is an optional extra, which is a lime yellow, and it's a very distinctive color clubbed with these blacked out wheels and the blacked out roof, which is again an optional extra, and lots of extra black bits that are also provided on this. So there are lots of optional extras also on this particular Mustang EcoBoost variant. I'm going to come across and I'm going to show you that too. So first, let's begin from the front. So you have this honeycomb grille in the front with the blacked out pony badge. At the bottom, again honeycomb grille, extra ones for cooling too, and this is in like normal plastic, more normal plastic around out here also. And then you have these headlights. So these are the tri LED headlight cluster. They are completely in LED, and there are the DRLs on the top side. They also have a bit of animation when you get closer to the car and unlock or lock it. So at that time it would just flash around, and then the DRLs are the LEDs, and the same ones also convert into turn signals, and they are the dynamic ones. So they are sequential ones on the top side, and at the bottom again normal plastic, and then this meshed honeycomb grill, but again that's like plastic piece, just like that, nothing functional or anything, more normal plastic sitting at the bottom side of the bumper. And underneath the hood sits a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder twin scroll turbocharged engine, which is the 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine that produces 315 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque, and it powers the rear wheels, and all Mustangs are the rear wheel drive. That's the fun. And it also is mated to 10-speed automatic transmission. There is also a camera out here in the front for the safety systems, active and the passive, as well as the Ford's Co-Pilot 360, which is the hands-free driving. Again, that's also an optional extra. A long nose out here, and on the side you would find these 19-inch black color aluminum wheels, again pony badging in the middle also, and then even this is part of the optional extra. So it's got the night pony package, the black bits that you see all are across on the car. So those are like this wheels, the roof, and the blade in the back, which is like a small tiny spoiler given in the back. And at the bottom again normal plastic skirtings are provided, and then a very roundish design that way, is just a few thick shoulder lines continuing from the rear on the rear fender, and then very roundish fender design also. When we come to these side mirrors, these are glossy black side mirrors. They are non-power foldable, power adjustable. They also have the blind spot warning on the inside, and also a turn signal on the edge, and they are slightly on the tiny side. Like the cluster looks big, but the whole mirror itself, that is pretty compact in that way, especially on the driver's side. Yeah, that can become a little bit tricky to adjust. Now when we come to these doors, so these are the frameless doors, and they are the keyless entry doors also, and there is a Mustang badging on the door sills, which is also an illuminated badge. Now there are also some more pony badges that are given, which is out here on the front glass, which was there out here too, on the wheels, even on the side of these headlights they are provided, and then some more are going to come in the back also. And again same 19-inch wheels in the rear also. Now let's move into the rear side and show you first this black color blade, which is optional extra, and also this black color roof, which is part of the Night Pony package. And in the rear there is blacked out pony badge, and then these iconic LED tail light design. So very distinctive, because these designs, when you see them, that's very obvious that this is a Mustang. So the rear tail lights are completely LED tail light cluster, and the same brake lights, the main ones, also convert into the turn signals, and they are also the sequential turn signals. And at the bottom there is normal plastic bumper design, a bit of angles and stuff that is going on, and a huge reversing light at the bottom, and then these twin exhaust tips on either side. So you get the quad exhaust tips, and there is also an active exhaust valve that's been provided. And if you think that this 2.3 liter 4-cylinder engine wouldn't sound great, then have this active exhaust valve and it would change the way you feel this car. In fact, have a listen to this exhaust system, because it sounds incredible, and there are like 4 different options to choose from, varying from quiet, normal, sport to track mode. Have a listen to that. Now that you are convinced that it does sound pretty good, then let's continue. So in terms of the rear visibility, it's actually pretty good. Like, you get good amount of visibility all across, and it's not going to be much of a bother. And in order to open the trunk, you'll press the button here and open it, and then you can put 13.5 cubic feet of luggage in the back. And there are no tying points or anything, but yes, you can utilize this space in the back. There are also scuff plates out here so that you don't damage your optional paint work. And underneath the trunk floor sits a temporary spare wheel provided on this. At least I'm glad there's a temporary spare wheel, unlike so many manufacturers who started giving out like tire repair kits. So if you kind of first learn that, but instead this is so easy. There's also an emergency release lever provided out here, and there's one more badge out here, the outline of the Mustang that's been given on one side of the tail lights on the top side. Let's jump into the inside and see it. So frameless doors, and the doors are quite long. So there's soft touch material on the top face, on the side face soft touch material where you're going to be resting has that soft material, some chrome on the door handles, and then this plastic insert in the form of like carbon fiber, so meant to look like that. Then again normal plastic out here. On the inside again blacked out version, and then these seats which are again in leather seats, perforated ones. Let's jump on the inside. On the dashboard there's soft touch material on the top side. Again on the side face, on the front side of the dashboard, there is this carbon fiber plastic insert. Out here also carbon fiber plastic insert with the Mustang badging. Out here normal plastic under the glove box, and then out here also again plastic insert, carbon fiber around the switch and everything. And then the whole panel is angled towards the driver also. If you look at it from the side, then it's got a bit of an angle. Out here there's soft touch material. We're going to be resting hands, that's also soft touch material. And then even on the side there is like normal plastic, and then this leather covered steering wheel, flat bottom, half perforated, and then normal plastic out here in the middle also. But the quality of plastic is pretty decent, I would say. Just some places out here in the back where it can be improved a little bit. That's about it. Now, first of all, I want to mention a couple of things that annoy me sometimes, and that is the fact that the seat on the driver's side is when you switch on the car, it would automatically go into the position, but sometimes the car doesn't do that for some reason. And that's first point. The second point is that the exhaust. Now you have the option, as I mentioned, to switch the exhaust, and it's going to take a little while to load because sometimes the menu takes a little longer. So this is the mute mode, like it will become very quiet, then the normal exhaust on, then the sport exhaust, and then the track. But I've left it in the quiet exhaust, and also from the settings on the inside, because there is a setting options on the inside where you go into the vehicle and quiet start. Now I've kept it on because I don't want the car to be very loud inside the parking lot and then disrupt the neighbors and everyone. So I've kept it that, but the car sometimes doesn't do that. It always goes on the active exhaust and then switches on. So that's something it keeps sometimes forgetting. And then the next one is this, the gear shifter. Looks pretty good. I love the design of this gear shifter, but the thing is, the D and L, there is no detent between that. So most of the times when I've been just shifting the car, I put it in L, the low range mode, and then after driving for a bit, I've realized the car isn't changing gears because it's on low range mode. And then that's why you just have to keep an eye out every single time that you change gears, or you have to keep an eye out on the driver's display. And that is the thing, like, if there was some sort of thing to stop this from going from D to L while you shift, then because it's so close, so and it just functions directly, so there should be two-step mechanism where it goes into D and then again you press one more time and then it releases and goes into the L. So I don't know, these are the sort of things that I came across that were not very friendly to use on this one. Now let's begin with the driver's display. So there is a 12.4-inch digital driver's display, and the layout of that can be changed as well as the color and theme and everything, and I really like, because some of the things that are given on this will really surprise you. So let's go into the features. Actually, let's go into the settings. It's where it is, and then the instrument cluster, that's where the design is to choose the screens, or you can go in the back and then into the features and then the Mustang, and then here is the option which is the cluster theme. Now the cluster theme option is where you can change from match the drive mode to normal, which is this, and then the sport, which is going to change here. Let me change it. This is normal, this is sport, this is the track, becomes like a very racy sort of setup, and then the calm, where it minimizes everything, just shows you the speed. And then here's my favorite, classic, fox body, and SVT Cobra from different eras. So the classic from 67 to 68, this is the design and I like it. And fox body from 87 to 93, I actually prefer this one because it's so easy to look at it. And then there is one more, the SVT Cobra, look at this in white. So even that is provided on this, all on the inside. And then you go back and you can even change the color also of this. So like so many different colors to choose from. The top menu color, which will change out here, you see on the top side all what is written, and the bottom side you change the color of the cluster and also the menu options out here. So that's how you change everything on this. So lots of things that you can choose, the primary and secondary colors, and also there is the ambient light option. So there are like ambient lights provided out here in the door cards and also in the footwell, and all of those lights can be changed from here. And we come out from there, and that's your main driver's display. And there is lots of information that's also displayed on this, like if you see the exhaust system, what is it on, the fuel gauge, the center information, that also can be changed. More information out here at the bottom also, and the cruise control information. So all of that is displayed on this. And the thing is that I found like both of these screens, they are connected at an angle. The infotainment screen has an angle, and this one. And the thing is that there is like thick bezel, like I've realized, like there is like quite a lot of borders all around, and that sort of makes the screen look taller. But in actual they are slightly on the a smaller side. Yeah, that's the thing. Now in order to change the information out here, so you use the buttons that are provided on the right side of the steering wheel to go from driver assistance, trip 1, then fuel economy, tire pressure, gauge dial to get the details out here, vacuum boost and everything, all that in real time. Gauge details, air fuel ratio, that also keeps changing. So if I rev it up a little bit, you see the change of air fuel ratio. Then the Mustang status, exhaust, drive mode, everything. Then the driving assistance, and you can add also more options to this by going into the settings and then into the instrument cluster, and then you choose the screens, trip 1, trip 2, you can see that too, auto start stop. You can add things to this also. And another cool feature is that the belts up here, they have a stripe to them, like a white color stripe, and even in the rear the same sort of white color stripe that's been provided. Now when we come to this steering wheel, so this is a leather covered steering wheel, half perforated, flat bottom steering wheel. Even on them there is this carbon fiber plastic inserts provided on the sides and at the bottom also, this pony badge in the middle, and it's manually adjustable, tilt and telescopic, no paddle shifters, buttons provided on either side, and a very sporty sort of steering wheel design for sure, because yeah, it goes at an angle and stuff, so I like the design of it. And on the right side there are buttons provided for the driver's display, changing information, as well as the media controls. And on the left side there are buttons provided for the Ford's Co-Pilot 360, which is for the adaptive cruise control along with hands-free driving, and the mode button, because there are 6 different driving modes on this, and again on that also you will see a lot of animation. So the first one is normal mode, then the sport mode, you can see that car change, then to track mode, there's a dedicated track mode also, and then there is something called as drag strip, so it will give you like the maximum power and boost and everything, but I don't know, we're going to be using that drag strip mode. And then there is the slippery mode, and then the custom, so that custom can be customized from inside this. You go into the features, this is the thing, like some of the menu layers are done quite inside, so you have to go like a lot inside, like layered, you know, options all out here. So you go there, and then there is the custom mode where you can change everything on this, so from track, the steering setup, to the traction control, to exhaust, to the gauge design, everything can be changed from here. And I've not kept it linked to the drive mode, that's why it hasn't changed the driver's display, so otherwise it would just change. So let me just put it into the normal mode, and then you see it does not return back to the quiet mode, so every time you have to go, there is also another button out here, shortcut for the My Mustang, and then from there you go and make it silent. So yes, you have to keep doing this every single time. I wish the car would just remember all by itself. Now when we come to the air conditioning system, so there is a dual zone air conditioning system provided on this Ford Mustang EcoBoost, and the thing is that it sits on this infotainment screen at the bottom. So this screen is like a 13.2 inch infotainment screen, and there are no physical buttons, so Ford has ditched all of that and just provided the entire air conditioning system out here. And the thing is, like while driving, yeah, this can become a bit hectic, because you have to look down all the time on the screen and then change it, because in order to operate there is the fan thing, and then you have to slide it and then switch it on all the time. And then even the temperature, you're gonna go from here and then change the temperature on either side, so like this, scroll it all around, and then the heated steering option also is provided here, or leave it on auto, and the different modes also, and then the main settings. So here, if you want the flow of air to be in the front, and then dual and all of that, and the recirculation of air, all of that on and off is all here. But yes, you see, like you have to do a lot of work in order to operate this air conditioning system. And there are also buttons on the edges on the screen itself for the heated and the cooled seats. So the driver and the passenger side seats are both the heated and the cooled seats, and then again that's also got this slidey bit on them, the on-screen options, so you have to use them like that every single time. Now there are also more buttons that are provided out here for the volume dial, the start stop, and also more buttons here for switching off the traction control, the hazard lights, start button and the My Mustang button and the engine start stop button. So yeah, all of that is out here and divided by these air conditioning vents, and then we come to this infotainment screen. So this is a 13.2-inch Sync 4 infotainment system provided on this Ford Mustang EcoBoost, and in terms of its operation, it's a bit loaded, I will admit, because it slows down a little bit in terms of its operation. So there's also the inbuilt navigation system, which is again a part of an optional extra, so you can opt for that, or if you don't want, you can remove that because you're going to be using Google Maps or Apple Maps. So yeah, you're all right. So yeah, but that is inbuilt, and then if you see, like, it takes a little while to load also, and then yeah, it's decently all right. But yes, there is something that's been provided on board also. And then the audio option. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment screen using Bluetooth, USB, and there is wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Then the Android Auto option out here. So as I said, wireless option. So yeah, you can connect to that also. And then the setting options out here for your phone, syncs, navigation, and the sound. So there are 12 speaker Bang & Olufsen surround sound system, which is again an optional extra that's been provided. Otherwise you get a 9 speaker normal music system. And then the vehicle option, all the different settings are on the inside: clock, personal profiles, general, instrument cluster, center display connectivity, vehicle hotspot, 911 assist, which is like an SOS button, valet mode. And then we come out, and then the features, where it's got the driving assistance, the driver assistance, all the options that are given out here. And then the My Mustang option, which is where everything can be changed, basically the nature of the car. And then even this car is sort of a 3D, so you can just move it around. It doesn't do anything, have any options to click, but it's just a fun thing to look at the car in different angles if you fancy doing that. And then the auxiliary gauges, on screen ones that you can see out here, and then you can even change them to different options. So yeah, just 2, or there's a G meter here in the middle, and then more options all around, and then even those can be customized to change whatever information you want to see. Then the custom mode, my color, and the cluster theme selection, and then we come out. So that's about it. That's how you use this infotainment screen. It's simple, I like it, but yes, it's a bit heavily loaded, and it can slow down also. Sometimes when it switches on, it takes a little while to load all the options, about a minute or two sometimes, to just load some of these options, especially the My Mustang mode. Now when we come to the charging, so there are 2 USB ports, one type C and one normal, along with a 12 volt power socket, no wireless charger, and there's one more 12 volt power socket that's been given in the center armrest. And one more thing about this center armrest is that if you lock the car, then it locks this center armrest, the door to that, so that if you put stuff inside, it would be locked. It's a good idea, I like it. Now when we come to the storage, so in the door cars, not much. You can put half a liter worth of water. There's this glove box, you can put some stuff in there, this pad out here to put your wallets and phones, and then these 2 flexible cup holders, and there is also a sunglass holder. Now when we come to these seats, so these are the black color leather seats. They are perforated seats, and they are quite broad seats and genuinely long, like that ways, in terms of offering the support. Even the under thigh support is pretty good, but yes, it depends, because the driver side seat has more adjustment, whereas the passenger side seat doesn't have a lot of adjustment. I feel like the lumbar adjustment can be improved, because I found to be a bit tiring over a longer time when you're sitting in these seats. No doubt these seats are quite soft to sit on for everyday use, so they are quite usable on a daily purposes. There are also 2 headrests, soft ones, as well as there are rear seats also. I'm going to come to that too. And there is the side support in the back side. Yes, that's a bit like flatter instead of being a little more sportier. And at the bottom side, yes, there is good amount of side wall to these seats. And as I said, these seats are the heated and the cooled seats. Now in terms of the adjustments, so the driver side seat, let me go out and show you. The driver's side seat is 6-way electronically adjustable, 2-way lumbar adjustment, whereas the backrest is manually adjustable, whereas the passenger side seat is 4-way electronically adjustable and no lumbar adjustment, and the backrest is again manually adjustable. And if you notice, there is also the rear seats. Now I'm not going to get inside those rear seats because it's nearly pointless, to be honest, and in order to move these seats you have to manually do this all the time. And even these seats, if you hear, they make a squeaky sound. I'm gonna let you hear it. So yeah, but they have this strap out here, so you can put your seat belts in here, so it's presented every time closer to you. Now 2 rear seats, but most likely they are going to be used by kids only, because there's not much space, if you see, for an adult to fit in. Especially now there is space because I've pushed the seats all the way to the front, and driver side, yes, cannot have compromise in terms of the seating position. So there are thick padding on both the sides. They are perforated seats, not the heated or the cool seats, but there are child isofix points in both the seats. So yes, kids are most likely going to be using these seats for sure on this Ford Mustang EcoBoost, whereas for the adults there are these 2 seats in the front. And it's time to go for a drive, because we have to find out 4-cylinder turbocharged engine or the V8. So this new Ford Mustang EcoBoost premium fastback is powered by 2.3 liter 4-cylinder inline twin scroll turbocharged engine that produces 315 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque, and this engine is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission which sends power to the rear wheels via a limited slip differential, which is an optional extra provided on this very Ford Mustang EcoBoost, and it sends the power to the rear wheels. And in fact, one more fact that I have come across is that Ford has actually mentioned that if you use the parking brakes and pull that, the electronic one that is given out here, you can actually slide and drift around if you're in the right mode, basically. So yeah, that's also possible. So even though it doesn't have the physical handbrake, but yes, that parking switch can also work like that, which is a pretty cool feature. Now I've currently put the car in the normal mode, but let me just straight away dive into the sport, because that's where the fun is. In fact, even track, but in the track mode, then yes, it becomes very, powerful. So you have to make sure that you can pace yourself properly before testing that out. But yes, it takes a little while, but the recipe is that you got to keep the RPMs about 3000. Now in order to do that, there is very limited options, because there's no way to manually control this car. So yeah, to just keep it about 3000, and then you can pounce. This pony really goes after that. Yep. And plus I want to make it a little more louder, because why not? It's fine right now, I'm not gonna annoy anyone. And then yes, there is a bit of burbling that happens in the rear, and sometimes some moments there will be some pops and crackles also. So like, but yeah, see, I don't know if my microphones are picking up, but yes, it does give you some thrill, even though it's just a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. But yes, it delivers that, and the power, yes, comes after 3000, and that's when it starts to actually show its magic. But nonetheless, even though when you're driving it below that too, then gradually build up, and then the traction control kicks in, and then it's sort of sliding around also a little bit, because but the limited slip differential works in the back and makes sure there is traction all the time. But yes, rear wheel drive cars are so much fun that way, and yes, this also manages to do that well. Now the only thing is that the gearbox, because there are 10 gears, so sometimes it just tends to be in a bit of a rush to just switch to different gears, especially in the normal or the sport mode. It just wants to go higher gears, and that's when when you need the power, and then it has to just abruptly go down and then deliver the power, which takes a little while to respond. So that's the only concern, because going through 10 gears is a lot, to be honest, and sometimes it can be even erratic, and sometimes I've noticed that it tends to stick around to that first gear a little longer, and then it tends to change the gear also. Now when we come to the fuel economy, so in highway drivings, I've managed to get between 7 to 7.1 liters per 100 kilometers, whereas within the city, in mixed driving conditions, the stop-go traffic, I've managed to get like 10.1 to 10.3 to 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers, which is pretty close to the figures that Ford has claimed. So on average, it would return you between 9 to 9.2 liters per 100 kilometers, which is respectable for a muscle car. And why not, especially a sport car that can do this and sound pretty good. I don't know how they managed to do that with a 4-cylinder engine to be able to make it this good in terms of its sound. So that's fun and thrill sorted with this Mustang EcoBoost for sure. Now when you come to the suspension, so they are slightly on the firmer side, and I get it. Why? Because you need to have the control, especially if you're using this car on the track. Then yes, you definitely need that setup. So there are lots of bumps like the ones right now, then it can get a bit uncomfortable, to be honest, but otherwise they will perform very well on the track itself. And also the roll is pretty good, even though this is a big, broad and heavy car, but it still manages to keep it in control. Now when we come to the steering, so there's an electronic steering provided on this Mustang, and it keeps changing the nature of it. Currently I'm in the sporty mode, and also if I switch it to, let's say, the track mode, then it does become a bit stiffer, and sometimes even in the normal mode, I just feel like it's just overly done to make it feel a little more heavier. But yes, it's a good setup of steering, so there is good weight definitely to that, to give you that added sort of benefit of handling the car and getting to know how it will handle through different turns, and you can practically read the surfaces quite well also. And when we come to the noise, so the only noise that you will hear from this car, the major one, is that exhaust, which is that, and then after that the other sound that you will hear is from that 19-inch wheels, and again they also don't contribute much in terms of absorbing the bumps also. So yes, that will be. And then the front glass for some reason has been leaking some noise inside, whereas the glass on the side, they have been quiet, so there is not much wind whooshing around them. So that's the scenario. Now when we come to the brakes, so there are 4-disc brakes, and I've found the brake pedal to be a bit on the spongy side, whereas the brake action, that can also vary depending on the force that you apply on the foot. So after that the response will be a bit varying, but yes, definitely it's a bit spongy, although it is progressive, so that's a good thing. And I'm guessing it's been made like that for the track use, and for that reason the pedal setup is like that. Now when we come to the safety systems, so there are 7 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger. Then there are 2 curtain airbags in the pillars, and there's also a driver side knee airbag. There is also the child isofix points in both the rear seats. Most likely the rear seats are going to be used only by the kids for sure, unless the adults are willing to not get their legs together, then that's a different case. Then the other safety systems are the single camera reversing system, pretty clear and good quality reversing camera, and then you can just select one view, like the zoomed in view or the zoomed out, that's about it. And then there is the blind spot warning, the tire pressure monitoring system, ABS, then the traction control system, and then the computers themselves work pretty well in sync to make sure the car is balanced at all point of time. So on that front, it's pretty good. I've had one opportunity here to maybe test out. Yeah, it's got the grunt for sure. It's got the grunt. It just takes a little while, but yes, it definitely shines then. So yeah, in terms of the safety systems, that is pretty much everything. In fact, there are also sensors to monitor the car at night in case you leave it in a dark place or somewhere unsafe. Then yeah, there is the anti-theft system also provided. Now when we come to the pricing, so this particular variant comes in at 44,580 Canadian dollars, but with the optional extras that have been added to this, which are worth 8,920 Canadian dollars, it takes the total to 53,520 Canadian dollars plus taxes. But to be honest, the price you pay for the car, it's pretty decent, because it's a very affordable sports car to get in, and especially if you're venturing into the sports car category, then this is a good start to it, because it still has the fun, it's got the thrill. And as I mentioned at the start, does it really offer that thrill, the iconic thrill of the Mustang, is because it's not offered in a V8? Yes, it will. It depends what you're looking for, because if you're looking for a car that's daily drivable, this has that recipe, because it's got the dual nature. It can turn itself into a sportier version, and it can also drive very calmly within the city. Like, let me just put it into the normal mode, and things then become decently comfortable. And also it's got the drag mode also, so in case you're going to drag this car, you can take that too and not get disappointed. So yes, there are things that are offered on this car, and also it's economical. It's genuinely daily drivable, because let's say a V8 would return you somewhere between 12 to 13 liters per 100 kilometers. This on average would deliver around 9 liters per 100 kilometers, which is not a bad thing for daily driving this car. And plus it still looks exactly the same like the other Mustangs, so I don't see why you should not be checking out this car, especially if you're getting into the sports car category. And even Ford admits that it's for the millennials and the Gen Zs who want a car that's more daily drivable, it's comfortable, it's got the tech, which this car obviously has all of it, and it's also got the fun and the zip and the zing. So all of that is all provided on this Mustang EcoBoost. So in conclusion, yes, it doesn't have the V8, but it doesn't need to, because even the 4-cylinder EcoBoost with that active exhaust valve is gonna be plentiful for daily use. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to press the subscription button and leave all the notifications on, and also make sure to press the thumbs up button if you've liked this video. I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye, take care, and drive safe.